Welcome back to Pork Chops, Rice, and Peaches. I'm Richard.
And I'm Noah.
And today we have done something that is a first for Pork Chops, Rice, and Peaches. We picked a movie, we went and saw the movie, and we are right back here in our secret location in Kansas, the alternate set, and we're here to talk to you about something that's timely and fresh and in theaters right now.
Wow, it's like a magical, the stars aligned, and it's the perfect Pork Chops, Rice, and Peaches episode.
It might be. Go ahead and introduce the movie.
Merry early Christmas, everybody! Today we are talking about the brand new 2022 Christmas action flick, Violent Night.
A David Harbour movie with
so much wacky action that... Okay, let's give some background. First off, if you haven't seen the movie, spoilers ahead, this is hilarious. It is made by 8711 or 87 North Productions.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't know who that is a production studio. They are known for a little franchise. You might have heard of it. It's called John Wick. And they made an action film called Nobody, and then they also made a one we talked about earlier this year, Bullet Train. Mm-hmm. So a bit of a pedigree they're building themselves, bit of a resume. They are an action studio. They are action focused. They've a lot of stunt actors working for them. A lot of history in action films there, and Violent Night is no exception.
Lives up to its name. You have snow, you have blood. It makes a great combination on screen.
Absolutely fantastic. And of course, as you said, it stars the best part of the Black Widow movie, David Harbour.
David Harbour, yes, most definitely.
As Santa Claus, which was not expecting a David Harbour Santa Claus to make my top 5 Santa Claus performances. But I think he has now placed himself in there because this was fantastic. We are 30 minutes ago watched the movie. That's how fresh we are with this take.
So here is a movie that hasn't made up its mind what it wants to be. It is one part black comedy. It is
so dark.
It is
such dark humor.
Yes, and it is one part heartwarming Christmas tale. It has elements of Tim Allen's Santa Claus.
It does. It does.
It has elements of Home Alone. It actually pays homage to Home Alone,
yes.
Rather blatantly.
Yes.
And it is just...
They got a lot of Die Hard mixed in there, so...
Oh, yeah, most...
everyone who is in the right opinion thinking that Die Hard is a Christmas movie. It's like a perfect mixture of all of these things.
And the interesting thing from the trailers, and I wondered if the trailers were going to be one of those movies where all the best parts of the movie are in the trailer, and you get to the movie and it's boring. I had no clue what to expect, and this movie kind of kept me guessing all the way through.
It kind of did.
Well, it opened... And I don't know if you noticed this, but we were laughing hard from the beginning.
From the beginning.
Until about halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
Because about halfway through the movie, the whole tone and tenor of the movie changed, and it was less of the laugh out loud antics, and it was a little more thoughtful and a little more family and a little more heartwarming, and you're sitting in the theater thinking... What are they trying to do here?
I can only imagine the pitch for this movie, including people rolling on the floor laughing, because just the creativity on so many levels in this movie, because you've got a whole brand new lore to Santa Claus that borrows elements from just about every version you've seen so far. Are you going to give him a break? Give him a chance.
Studio Dog. We forgot to introduce Studio Dog, who I think is going to just groom me the entire episode.
He's really happy to see you.
He is.
He's very happy to see you. Might have to
going.
fast forward through this
keep
part.
It's okay. Keep going.
So as I said, you have a brand new Santa Claus lore, which, okay, this is your second spoiler warning. He was a Viking.
Okay, so of all of the, I don't know how many Santa Claus origin stories have we ever had outside of Rankin and Bass.
Rankin and Bass,
right? The little baby that shows up and
kind of a pseudo one from the Tim Allen Santa Claus franchise,
right?
And I'm sure there are a lot of variations in smaller movies that have given their own spin on the Kris Kringle tale. But
so here's Kris Kringle, who was a Viking warrior with a favorite sledgehammer called Skull Crusher, which he claims he wielded with surgical precision. And there are flashbacks to this heavily tattooed, bearded Viking warrior just taking people out right and left. And somehow, and the movie doesn't tell us, somehow he becomes Santa Claus.
It's just, and I think it's smart. Some movies, you don't need the backstory of how someone got to where they were. You just need them to be.
Yes.
And it just adds to the
well, it kinda,
the whole believability that Santa is going around and just destroying a compound of
filled with mercenary, highly trained soldiers, and he's taking them out right and left.
So let's plot summary.
Okay,
because it's been 6 minutes so far.
Right.
So you have David Harbour playing Santa. He is sick of the modern kid mindset. It goes on a whole rant about kids these days and only wanting cash and video games, and it was very very fun,
and never being grateful for what they were given.
Exactly, never being grateful for what they're given, and it makes a point about this. And he's in a bar in, was it Edinburgh, or he was somewhere in the United Kingdom, downing glasses of beer before getting in his sleigh, doing a U-turn in midair as the bar keeps coming up to see why he went to the roof, because she thinks he's a mall Santa, and he pukes out the sleigh on her.
That is the moment when you know that this is going to be a different kind of Santa Claus movie.
Exactly. And he goes about delivering Christmas presents, and he's getting grumpy, and he's getting fed up with this, saying how this is going to be his last Christmas. And you cut to this entire second story about a family, which was very predictable. Estranged parents, separated, the kids in between.
Right.
Kid
only wants the parents to be reunited.
Yeah, you've seen that in how many Christmas films now?
Right.
Okay, cool. It works. It's a serviceable storyline. It works.
Uber wealthy family,
Mm-hmm.
material greedy, only reaching out for what is the next thing that they can get.
Exactly.
Right? Completely dysfunctional because of wealth.
The matriarch of the family owns this rich compound, and she has $300 million that she stole from the U.S. government sitting in a vault. And this team of mercenaries led by John Leguizamo.
Right.
I can't pronounce that name.
Yes, I could. Close enough. The only one of only two actors in the movie that I recognized. Mm-hmm. Right.
Yep.
And then
I didn't realize who it was until the end credits, but because the last time I saw him in a role that I would recognize was the 1990 something Super Mario Brothers movie, the live action one.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was Luigi.
Huh.
Yeah. Very young version of him playing Luigi in that
I've never seen
dumpster fire of a film.
Okay.
Yeah, it was bad.
Well, so one of the things that made the movie refreshing for me is I didn't know anybody in the movie.
Of course.
And I always like that.
Yes.
Right? And
it's fun to see new talent.
The actress that plays the daughter, she's a scene stealer. She was just
fantastic.
a natural.
Now there is something, and it doesn't come up very often, but there is something odd about watching someone who is very obviously around the 10, 11-year-old range act like they're 6 or 7. I understand why. I don't know how old the actress is. I probably should have researched that. But she looks like she's more in the 10, 11, 12-year-old range. But the character sounds like she's in the 6, 7, 8-year-old range. And it's always a little off-putting for me. But I understand that when you have a child actor who's 11, 12, that age range, they're probably going to perform a little bit better. And it's probably easier for them to actually put on a performance as a younger, because they've already been there.
Right.
They probably at least have somewhat of a memory of, their kids. So it's just one of those nitpicks. It doesn't come up very often, but when you have an obviously older kid playing one with a younger mindset, it's a little odd at first, just a little jarring. But she was so good that as the movie goes on, I kind of completely forgot about it.
Yeah, I never had a problem with that. I just kind of accepted her for where she was, watched the performance, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And, call it good.
Yeah. So, but yes, you're right. She stole every scene that she was in.
She did.
Fantastic.
She did. Now, if you like a movie that has senseless violence, lots of action, lots of stunt fighting,
really high quality stunt fighting,
and deliciously gruesome, in the quality of your best slasher flick, watching Santa take out the bad guys.
It's a lot of fun.
It was just a lot of fun.
It was so creative in so many ways, and they didn't try to go too overboard with the Christmas theme. So, not to give too much away, because the action truly is one of the best parts of this movie. I told you when we reviewed Bullet Train, iCard, where is it? That the one, because it's the same, get the coffee. Because it's the same company, I told you I was almost a little disappointed with Bullet Train's action sequences because of how they had to shoot it within the confines of a train car.
Okay.
I do not have this complaint with this movie. The first fight scene was a little bit slow. The first big one, I'm not going to talk too much about it, but it's done in a one-take style. I don't know if they actually did it in a one-take, but I noticed halfway through, I was like, why are they moving so slow? Why is this so awkward? And then I realized it's a one-take. They shot it as a one-take.
Okay.
So, once I realized that, I was like, okay, they're just showing off at this point. And the rest of the action, I was giggling the entire movie. It was just, you switch from the campy, like, oh, here's what we could do with all the Christmas theming, to just, all right, let's just murder a bunch of people and make it hilarious. The stunt work was fantastic. I could point out so many different things that they did. Wire gags, complete total body wrecks. It looked like maybe a burn stunt in there. It's just fantastic work all around.
All those things.
It's just a stuntman's paradise to watch.
For me, it was just a matter of being able to sit down, turn off the mind, and consume content.
The content.
And for me to be able to do that is a tremendous amount of fun, because if you notice what I didn't have either in the studio or in the theater, rather, or right here in front of me,
A notepad.
I don't have a notepad. I didn't take notes.
Yep.
I didn't write anything down. I just sat down. Now, I was in the right frame of mind. Last night, I was at the Improv in Kansas City watching Brad Williams. I spent the whole evening laughing.
Yeah.
Between the warm-up acts and his show, which was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
If you ever get a chance to see him live, grab a small chair and pull out and watch him. Really was. So I was in a great frame of mind for this. So this is a fun movie if you can just
turn off your brain.
Don't expect a really high-quality plot. This is a vehicle. This is a
Yeah.
vehicle to show what they can do, and it's a vehicle to take a concept and put it on screen. What if Santa Claus was a Viking? That's really what it is.
Fantastic. I don't even know what else without like going too heavy into there's
a real simple concept in the movie. So you already explained. Santa's kind of soured on his job. Oh, you're back. Santa's kind of soured on his job, and he's really seriously thinking of quitting. And when he meets Trudy, this young girl, he tells her that he used to be a really, really mean guy.
Yeah.
But in order to rediscover the inner Santa, he has to touch roots with the mean guy that was always in, right? The way to save the nice guy Santa is to turn him into a bloodthirsty killer. The people discussing the idea of this movie must have just been killing themselves.
They
laughing.
had to have been. They had to have been. And it would have been so easy. It would have been so easy to make this into a gimmick flick. Because, you sit down on the couch and you turn on your TV and you go to Amazon Prime. There's hundreds of movies that, at surface value, are going to look like the trailers to Violent Night.
Okay.
They're going to look like a slasher Christmas, horror film or a gimmick film where they've taken this concept of Christmas and then they've, turned it upside down. This one is not just a gimmick film, because it is a gimmick film. It's what if Santa was a badass,
right?
But it still, at the end of the day, is a Christmas movie because it has a Christmas message. It has the spirit of Christmas to a certain extent,
yes.
And there's these little touches that like keep in touch with like what the wonder of Christmas. Like he has the naughty and nice list, and he's constantly checking it throughout to figure out who he's dealing with.
He sees all the mercenaries pull up, and he unrolls it, and it's naughty, and then all their names and all the things that they've done wrong. It is a credits
roll. The all-stars of the naughty list.
The magic
bag gimmicks.
The magic bag gimmick was great. Remember how Tim Allen puts the bag on the floor and he reaches down and he pulls out a canoe.
Yep.
And then he reaches down and he pulls out the oar.
Yep.
You've got gimmicks like that in this movie with his.
It's just so good. Right? He's so good. I love the him going up the chimney. He had to put his finger.
Oh yeah, laying his finger aside of his nose.
It just shows you that these people just had so many ideas that they were like, you know what, let's just take bits of everything Christmas and just throw it in here.
Throw it in a blender and let it go.
It was so good.
I really enjoyed the fact that any time there was a question, which would be a natural question anyone would ask, how do you do that? How does this work? The only thing he would say is the same thing parents say to kids all year long, which is, Christmas magic. Even Santa doesn't know how it works,
Santa
right?
has no idea how it works.
We don't even know how Santa goes from ruthless Viking warrior to Santa Claus.
Yeah.
But he started it 1,100 years ago. Right?
He's married. There's Mrs. Claus.
Right.
He has all the reindeer with several funny running jokes with the reindeer.
Yeah.
I don't want to ruin everything.
No.
It's really funny.
And so, if you've got I wouldn't take a young kid to this one.
Oh, absolutely not.
This is a movie for mom and dad, older teens. Go
it
sit.
It is
watch,
rated.
have a laugh.
It is rated R.
I believe it.
It's swearing and violence. It's the bare minimum to get an R rating at this point.
So, favorite action sequence.
I don't know, because it's so hard to choose out of this, because there's the really good action sequences, which are fantastic, because you've obviously got someone wearing a Santa suit, and he has to look like David Harbour in a Santa suit, and at some points you have David Harbour in a Santa suit.
Right.
Really good. If he did some of that himself, which it looked like he did,
right,
really good. But then there's also the funny stuff. And I think the barn scene
was
my favorite part for pure stunts, and then just like there was just They were just like, what's in a barn that we could use to make some creative kills here?
The barn fight sequence is my, by far for me the best fighting sequence, because imagine Thor, Mjolnir, in a Santa suit, because that is pretty much Santa Claus with a sledgehammer in the barn taking people out. They've got all the high-tech equipment, the guns, everything, and when his hammer gets broken, he finds 2 ice skates, and he puts his hands in the ice skates, and then suddenly, here is a wild man with sharp blades on his hands. My only complaint, it was so dark. That whole sequence was so dark, you couldn't see a lot of what he was doing with the blades.
There was a little bit where you couldn't see, but then there was a little bit where it was like, you watched some of it, and it's a trick that I know. It's like you go really fast in action scenes, or you try to hide stuff and then make it very obvious afterwards what happened. So like you do like 3 quick punches, and then you do the last solid punch, and then after that you take a half-second pause to let the audience register what happened.
Right.
But yeah, the big issue is that this movie was a little on the dark side
in terms of the lighting.
Yeah. But for the most part, the action is
at the same time, and I guess the one thing is that it prevents it from being a pure slasher flick, is because it is not gratuitous heads exploding or seeing, that he's slit someone's throat with the move
they
that
let the shadow and the sound
and the imagination fill
everything in, which makes it more impactful.
Yes.
And but it doesn't overstep into that, like, because we were giggling through this movie. Through this movie. I don't know if that says something about us.
Well, so it's always interesting when the theater was empty.
Yeah,
there really were not a lot of people in there. But I didn't hear a lot of other people laughing either, because
we were drowning them out.
We could have been drowning them out because we were laughing.
We were laughing really hard.
Yeah,
but
right from the beginning, and
it's so good.
Yeah, that was good. So. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Violent Night was really fun. I will probably go buy this on Blu-ray.
Will you?
I probably when it comes out, and then this might be a new tradition. This was really good.
Watch it after you watch the Peanuts Christmas special.
Exactly,
right? Something like that. I will be seeing this again probably within the next week, because your brother and I are going to go see it. He really wanted to be there.
I might go take the wife to go see it. This would be.
I don't know if this is one that
I might go see it with the stunt team too.
Enjoy it as much the second time. I don't know. I don't know.
Some of the jokes. I think some of the jokes. There are some really cheesy stuff that like doesn't land. Some of the jokes don't land quite as well. Like the spoken jokes don't. Anything John Leguizamo said was not. He was very much trying to do this. He looked like he walked off The Sopranos, and he didn't do a bad job. I saw what they did. They were like, let's tick the boxes of a villain.
Anybody could have played that role.
Yeah,
it didn't have to be him.
It didn't have to be
him. It could have been any up and comer who could have pulled it off. But
it was inoffensive at worst.
So, go see Violent Night. We're not talking an Oscar contender here, but if you want to sit down and have a laugh and watch a mashup, this is a good movie.
Just go get some mindless entertainment where you can consume the content for 2 hours
and thoroughly enjoy it.
You'll have a great time.
All right.
And if you enjoy these videos and want to join in the discussion, leave a comment down below. Join us at the non-existent table today. Join us at the Christmas tree for these discussions by hitting the subscribe button.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.